Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So a couple of months ago, the storyboards for Justice League 2 and 3 were leaked, just before the release of the Snyder Cut. Now this wasn't a bad thing, as Zack Snyder wanted them to be leaked to try and increase the hype for the Snyder Cut, as well as a possible Justice League 2 and 3. So in today's video, I will be narrating those storyboards, and there will be another video later this week that explains why I think Snyder's vision is actually happening in the DCEU right now. Although originally pitched as one film, we believe the character arcs for our heroes and villains, along with the epic battle with Darkseid, which unites the League, the world, and the entire DC universe, warrants 2 films. However, this does not mean that you have 2 films centered on Darkseid's invasion. Rather, Justice League 2 would be a very grounded, personal and character-driven film that would follow the Justice League both together and separately as they mend old wounds on the road to becoming better and stronger heroes, while Lex Luthor recruits a league of his own made up of revenge-driven villains introduced in the heroes' solo films: Dr. Moreau, Wonder Woman 2017, Len Snart, The Flash 2018, Orm and Black Manta, Aquaman 2018, and the Riddler in The Batman. These villains would link all the DC films together. Like Empire Strikes Back and the last Harry Potter films, Justice League 2 would end with a cliffhanger, revealing only at the end of the film Lex and his league are connected to Darkseid, then flash forwarding 5 years into the future, where Darkseid has taken Earth. The heroes' arcs throughout parts 2 and 2A. With Lois's help, the back from the dead Superman will learn to become Clark Kent again, feeling more human than ever, as he and Lois starts a family. Wonder Woman will reconnect with the Amazons and her mother, eventually becoming their new queen, and rejoining these isolationist warriors with the outside world. Aquaman, with the help of Mera, will bring the 7 kingdoms together, becoming the one true king, building a new alliance between the oceans and the surface. The Flash will free himself from the past, releasing his father from prison with Cyborg's help, and learning how to master his time-traveling abilities, literally becoming able to be in 2 places at once. Cyborg will evolve both into the modern-day god of the digital age and into a human once again. And Batman will ultimately sacrifice his life for these unlikely friends and the woman he loves, leaving behind a legacy that will never truly die. Justice League 2 2019. The Justice League United. We open with the Justice League in action during a natural disaster, working as the efficient, powerful team they've become weeks after JL1. They act together, they save lives, but they're refugees, so political tension is high. The world is on edge. In the aftermath, the Justice League regroup at the only headquarters they know, the Batcave. Flash is enthusiastic, while Superman remains a bit distant, at least with Batman, and Aquaman is facing a continued skepticism of the surface world and his involvement in it by the people of Atlantis. Wonder Woman relates to Arthur. Her people abandoned this world long ago. It is clear that although the League is united, the world is not. The League goes back to their individual lives to mend old wounds, except for Batman, who's dealing with fresh ones, left alone in the cave. Bruce secretly meets with Lois, both of them still searching for Lex Luthor. There's tension between them since Superman has returned. The meeting ends after Lois tells Bruce that Superman needs her more than ever. Bruce knows Lois is hiding something else. Meanwhile, deep in the Brazilian jungle, Lex Luthor locates Dr. Moreau, last seen in Wonder Woman, still alive, experimenting on herself, prolonging her life and testing new chemical weapons on unfortunate human lab rats. Like an obsessed stalker, Moreau has spent decades collecting information and artifacts on Diana and the Amazons. Now that Diana has become known to the world, Lex offers Moreau a chance at revenge. Same revenge he wants on Diana's friends, Superman and Batman. Moreau accepts, Lex smiles. Then let it begin. In the Atacama Desert, with Moreau's help, Lex breaks Orm and Black Manta out of the desert prison, where they were imprisoned at the end of Aquaman. Outside of Central City, in Iron Heights, Lex finds Len Snart, where he was left in The Flash, and offers Len a chance to advance his weaponry and take down the fastest man alive. Intercut Lex and the villains with the Justice League returning to their lives. In Metropolis, Superman asks Lois when she was going to tell him. Tell you what, Clark? Superman says he can hear the second heartbeat. And she shouldn't call him Clark. Clark is dead. The world believes that too. Superman mistakes Lois' hesitation for fear. At the Louvre in Paris, Diana and Menelippe, the Amazon who came to warn Diana about Steppenwolf, discover that there may be a way to remember the path back to Themyscira. Diana must use the lasso on herself to unlock her mind. It's a dangerous process, but Diana wants to help Menelippe get home, and Diana wants to see her mother again, even if she might reject her. Diana puts the lasso on, and suddenly she's overwhelmed by visions. In the beginning, they're wonderful. For the first time in over a century, Diana sees her home. Soaring over the island, she sees the Amazons and finally her mother. But then the visions grow dark. Diana sees herself as the god of war, in a battle with Superman. As she kills him, Diana cries out. Menelippe frees Diana from the lasso. Despite the pain and confusion, Diana remembers the way home. In a Central City courthouse, Barry is at a hearing. Thanks to Cyborg and Iris, and a troupe of lawyers from Wayne, the state has examined new evidence that Barry and Vic have presented and agree to reopen Henry Allen's case. Along an underwater continental shelf, Aquaman and Mera are in a violent battle with the last of the Seven Kingdoms, the Unseen. Exposed around tidal pools and active volcano lava flows, Arthur has the Seventh King on the ground, his trident at his throat. The Seventh King tells him to kill him. Arthur says he wants an alliance. The Seventh King refuses. Arthur leaves frustrated. The Last Kingdom refuses to unite. In the Batcave, Cyborg upgrades the cave, even providing a female AI voice for Alfred, who has become a father figure of sorts. Cyborg asks Alfred why he's never home. Alfred solemnly replies, because then he'd have to face himself. Batman on Lois on the hunt for Lex Luthor. Batman moves deeper into the Canadian wilderness. He fights his way through a secret location only to discover that not Lex Luthor hiding out, but the Riddler. Awake for days, maybe weeks, Riddler has a long unkept beard, his fingers dirty, his rantings written across the walls of his cabin. He looks at Batman, a man possessed. Luthor asks the question. I had to know the answer. Lois is also on Luthor's trail. She's located Dr. Maru's lair in the Brazilian jungle. Lois writes everything in a journal, keeping it offline and private. She grows pale as she realizes who Maru is and what Lex might be up to. He's forming a team of his own. Back in the Canadian wilderness, Batman faces off against the Riddler. He tells Bruce about how Lex came to him for information. Lex presented the anti-life equation, the riddle of life itself, and the Riddler solved it. He knows what it can do, and once it's unlocked, Lex will make life meaningless. The Riddler raises a gun, but points it at his own head. Time to solve the last riddle. Batman's shocked as Riddler kills himself. The Justice League members unite with their families. Wonder Woman and Menelippe arrive in Themyscira. Diana's unsure what her mother's reaction will be, but a tearful and overjoyed Hippolyta embraces her. The Queen declares there will be a celebration unlike any other in Amazon history. Her daughter is home. In the oceans, Aquaman and Mera bring the final kingdom of the Seven, the Unseen, into their alliance. For the first time since Atlantis sank, it is once again united. In Central City, for the first time since he was a kid, there is no wall of glass between Barry and his father. Henry Allen is released from prison. Barry's about to tell his father who he is. In Metropolis, Lois returns to Superman, tells him she will accept Clark is gone, but she has to go, still on the trail of Lex. In Gotham, Batman returns from the wilderness, shaken by Riddler, intercut with Lois discovering from General Swanwick that Lex has 3 mother boxes. Lex activates his plan. At the Three Rivers, helicopters survey the area. Lex is on the scene. His team is elsewhere, but in contact with him. Lex activates the boxes, his true plan, to destroy the Justice League and take this secret power called the anti-life equation for his own. It will give him the power over all living life. The anti-life equation glows as Lex turns on the boxes. Cyborg blinks, feeling a horrible emptiness as the influx of data stops for the first time since he went online. And a boom tube erupts in front of Lex, surprising him. Emerging from the portal, Desard, the horrific, sadistic servant of his master, Darkseid, who emerges behind him. Darkseid takes the power of the anti-life equation for himself. In the Batcave, Superman, Batman, and Lois regroup. They learn of Darkseid's arrival. Superman tells Batman that this is a fight among the gods. "She's my world," he tells Bruce. "Protect her." Superman flies off to confront Darkseid. After Superman leaves, Bruce and Lois argue. Bruce knows she's pregnant. Lois ends the argument by telling Bruce, "You're not the father." She tries to tell Bruce about what she's discovered with what Lex is planning, but he won't listen. At the Three Rivers, taking in Darkseid's arrival, Lex tells Darkseid that Darkseid has the power to kill Superman. Darkseid moves forward, acknowledging Lex. He says to Lex, "I don't want him dead. I want Superman to submit." "The girl," says Lex. "She's the key to breaking his spirit." Superman arrives and a battle with Darkseid erupts. But Darkseid booms to Lois, the Batcave collapsing around her and Batman at his arrival. Bruce looks down at Darkseid and Lois from behind the glass wall above. Darkseid stares at Lois. Bruce is overwhelmed. Superman flies at incredible speed to Gotham. He arrives just in time to see Darkseid unleashing his Omega beams from his eyes, turning Lois into ash. Superman cries out, his soul shatters. Grief-stricken, he moves to tear Darkseid apart, but Darkseid gazes at him, the power of the anti-life coursing through his veins. Superman stops, his mind infected by Darkseid. Bruce watches it all in horror. Superman grabs his head in pain, eyes burning. Before Lois is able to warn everyone, Lex signals his team to attack. On Themyscira, Dr. Maru unleashes a chemical gas that covers the island and kills the Amazons. Even Diana, who's in her mother's arms, Maru dies herself, a sick and twisted smile on her face. In Atlantis, Orm and Black Manta attack the coronation, killing Arthur, Mira barely surviving herself, a cut across her face. In Central City, Len attacks Flash with his amped-up weapons, courtesy of Luthor. Cyborg is blown apart, saving Barry, losing his lower half. Back at the Batcave, Batman watches in horror as Darkseid takes full control of Superman. Superman turns on Batman and he barely escapes. Lex believes he's won, but comes face to face with Superman. He looks at Lex with burning red eyes and lights him on fire. As Lex screams, the world goes red, and, cut to, 5 years later. Sand dunes, smouldering solar pits, Gothic spires rising from the desert. Once this was Gotham. Now, like the rest of the Earth, it belongs to Darkseid. Coming over the dune, post-apocalyptic Batman, as seen in BVS, with an army of rebels, the surviving members of the Justice League, walk over the rise to see the decapitated Wayne Manor. Batman leads them. Flash drags what's left of Cyborg behind him. Bruce looks up to the sky, grimly. "We need to get inside, before night. He's coming." Justice League 2A, 2020. Green Lantern comes to a post-Darkseid Earth. We open by introducing Green Lantern to the Justice League film universe. He's inside his ship, crashing to Earth, desperately trying to make contact with someone, anyone, but there's no response, only static. The ship crashes hard. Disorientated, Lantern hears someone outside, opening the door. A silhouette figure peers in. It's Batman. Opening on the 5 years later Earth scene at the end of JL2. Parademon's conveyor onto the ship. Batman defending Lantern. Then an unexpected ally assists Batman. Deadshot firing at the Parademons. In this post-Darkseid world, Deadshot is teamed up with the Dark Knight. They're then joined by the Flash. Batman barks at the Flash to stay out of the fight. Barry's too important to the mission to risk getting hurt. Flash saves Batman, cocky, but is soon overwhelmed by parademons. Flash is almost killed, but Lantern saves him. The iconic friendship between them begin. Lantern looks across the Earth, analysing it with his ring. He explains to them who he is and who the Green Lantern Corps is, or was. How he came here looking for his partner from Earth, who's missing and presumed dead, like most of the Lanterns. Darkseid's army is paving their way across the universe. In the sky, the Big Dipper constellation is missing 2 stars. Batman says that all the stars will go out because of what's happening on Earth. The sun is setting. Batman says they need to move. The Justice League regroup. Batman, Deadshot, Flash, and Lantern return to the League's hidden base camp under Wayne Manor. Mira joins them, walking to the camp. across the desert with Arthur's trident slung across her shoulders, carrying 2 buckets of water. Mira remarks as she had to venture further outside of camp to locate drinkable water. Bruce explains his operation to Lantern. They are planning on a move that will end Darkseid's reign on Earth. Lantern doesn't think they have a shot. He wants to repair his ship and try and find any surviving members of the Corps. Lantern wonders what this Justice League could do to stop Darkseid. The Last Supper of the Justice League. Reveal post-Darkseid cyborg, now half a man, able to plug into machinery, hanging in the Batcave working on massive technology. A cosmic treadmill that will help the Flash jump back in time. To what end, Lantern asks. Cyborg tells Lantern the specifics of how time travel works. It's very uncontrollable, and even if they can get Flash to travel back, they can only try this once a year, so that the Earth will be in the very same spot and the Flash doesn't jump into solid bedrock. Flash shrugs, or space. In order to operate it, they need to steal a mother box from Darkseid's army, and they know where one is. But once they power this machine up, they'll get his attention. Lantern asks who. Mira answers, a Darkseid-controlled Superman. Even Lantern has heard of the Kryptonian. Worried that he's under the control of Darkseid, he heard his spirit was unbreakable. Deadshot goes on. Across the world, beyond parademons, nearly the entire population has fallen to the anti-life equation, their minds being completely controlled by Darkseid. Deadshot says he remembers when his daughter was taken. It haunts him. Worse than death. They need to move soon. The planet alignment is tomorrow night, where Earth will be in the same place it was when Bruce first saw Flash in the Batcave. If they don't jump then, they won't have another opportunity for an entire year. The plan is that Barry will warn Batman so they can be prepared, but the Flash will only have 10 to 15 seconds before he's taken apart. So what can he say in that amount of time to Bruce? They all agree it's simple. You have to stop Lex. If Lex is stopped, Darkseid will never come here and Lex will never slaughter the Justice League. Afterwards, Bruce pulls Barry aside. Bruce tells him that it won't work. He was trying to stop Lex already. Flash has to say something else. Bruce says that this is his fault. In a rare moment of vulnerability, Bruce admits she was Superman's world. I believe I broke that connection. Bruce whispers in Barry's ear, and Flash's eyes go wide. Flash can't help but say, no way. Bruce responds, tell me that. It will change everything. The mission. The mission starts at dawn. In a Fury Road-inspired Batmobile, the Justice League, Batman, Green Lantern, Deadshot and Mira break into the Stronghold, a cathedral swarming with anti-life controlled people, Darkseid soldiers. Human priests kneel at the Mother Box. Batman says as soon as they can get the Mother Box, Superman will be aware of them. Back at the Batcave, Cyborg and the Flash are preparing for Flash's jump. Cyborg makes it clear that the Flash won't have much time. He needs to deliver the message before he crumbles into nothingness. But if Barry succeeds, it won't matter. None of this will have ever happened. Batman and the others steal the Mother Box, then make a dead run back to the Batcave as the Flash and Cyborg prepare for Barry's jump. Superman is in pursuit. Superman arrives and faces off against the League. From a tower, Deadshot fires a kryptonite bullet at Superman's back, but Superman dodges it. Deadshot tells Batman, this better work. This better save my daughter. Superman flies through the tower, killing Deadshot. Mira tries to remove the water from Superman. He crushes her. Green Lantern fires his ring at Superman, but he sends his corrupted heat vision into the ring, until the ring explodes, taking Lantern's arm with it. Cyborg does what he can against Superman as Flash prepares to jump. Just after Cyborg activates the machine, Superman tosses him to the parademons. They tear him apart. Then finally, it's Batman facing off against Superman. The Flash runs hard on the machine, seconds away from the jump. Batman is armed with the kryptonite spear, but Superman impales Batman with it. As these two heroes struggle, the Flash races as fast as he can, exploding through time, just before Superman reaches him. Then, we're with Bruce and Lois, as they first argue in jail too. You're not the father, Lois storms out of the Batcave when the Flash arrives, landing in the Justice League 2 moment. He tells Bruce what he didn't hear before, what Bruce whispered in the Flash's ear. Lois lied to you. You're the father. After delivering his message, the Flash vanishes from existence. Lois comes down, trying to reconnect with Bruce, who is still reeling from the information. Again, Lois is insisting he listens to her. This time, he does. She tells him Lex has a plan to kill the Justice League. Working together, they discover his attack plans against the League. Suddenly, Darkseid's boom tube opens, water pouring into the Batcave again. Darkseid looks at Lois, Bruce looking down from above behind the glass again. But this time, Bruce goes into action, smashing through the glass, throwing himself in front of Darkseid's Omega beams as he moves Lois out of the way. He's struck by them, crying out, but he survives. Superman arrives in time to see Batman injured. He flies into a rage, but instead of being broken, he's empowered, angry. Superman puts Darkseid on his heels, and Darkseid is forced to retreat. Lois tells Superman he has to warn the others. Lex has a plan. With information from Lois on Lex's Injustice League, Superman saves the League, stopping Maru from releasing the gas on Themyscira, Orm and Black Manta from killing Aquaman, and Len from taking out Cyborg. Meanwhile, Bruce reveals to Lois that although he's alive, he was hit. There's a darkness growing across his body. He's in pain. But they need to keep fighting. He tells Lois as he boards the Batplane, "I could have had a life outside of the cave with you." Earth unites against Darkseid. Darkseid's full-scale invasion begins, and it's too much for the Justice League to handle on their own. But they won't have to. Led and inspired by Superman, the countries of the world come together. Armies, air forces, navies. Wonder Woman and her mother lead the Amazons off Themyscira to join the war. In the oceans, Aquaman pleads to the Seven Kingdoms, declaring that there's an eighth, the surface world, and they must be allies, not enemies. The Seven Kingdoms rise to join the Amazons and the surface. The entire world becomes a Justice League. In Lord of the Rings-like finale, the history of the three armies that first battled Darkseid echoes itself today: the world of men, the Amazons, and the Atlanteans. As the battle continues, Green Lantern joins the fight with the alien Green Lantern Corps. It's the DC Universe together for the first time, on a scale unlike that's ever been seen, battling to save the world together. During the battle, Hippolyta dies, saving her daughter, proud of what she's done. The Flash is able to move so quickly, he masters his powers, existing in two places at once, unstoppable. He takes out an entire army himself. Cyborg is able to overpower the Mother Boxes, taking control of them and triggering a chain reaction that destroys them, weakening Darkseid. It's ultimately a dying Batman who sacrifices himself to save the League and the world, destroying Darkseid. In the aftermath, Diana becomes the new queen of the Amazons, leading them to rejoin the outside world and restore and inspire peace. With the Amazons at her side, Diana negotiates peace between the countries of the world, unlike anything in history. Arthur is recognized by the kingdoms as a true king that has helped unite the world. The skepticism over his human heritage not only gone, but replaced with admiration. Cyborg evolves, becoming a god of the digital age, and able to transform himself to look human again. Lois mourns Bruce's death. Superman looks closer, realizing that Lois is carrying Bruce's child. Lois admits it, but he already knows. Maybe he always did, he says. He saw what he needed to do, but he doesn't shy away. Instead, he embraces Lois and her unborn child. He has a reason to be Clark again. 20 years later, after a memorial honouring the Batman's sacrifice, Commissioner Barbara Gordon asks Lois, "What are you going to tell him?" referring to telling Lois's son the truth about his father. For the first time in decades, crime is returning to Gotham, and it needs the Batman again. Lois takes her son to the Batcave and reveals the truth, that his father was Bruce Wayne, Batman. In Gotham, rising from the shadows and out into the moonlight, we all meet the new Batman. The end. So there we go. That is how Justice League 2 and 3 was going to happen. Now, because we know what happens, Zack Snyder has created new storyboards for the Justice League sequels. So if we were ever going to see those films, we would not know what happens. How different is his new plan to the leaked storyboards is currently unknown, but I would hope that it is quite different, because it would be nice to watch the film without knowing what happens. I have to say though, that is an incredible story. They brilliantly tied in all the solo films to connect to the Justice League sequels. I love seeing the entire world unite against Darkseid. But I do have a couple of things I would change. The first being, I don't like the idea of a relationship between Bruce and Lois. I would have preferred to see Bruce looking after Lois to make sure she's okay, as he's been through a lot as well. But I wouldn't have it as a romantic relationship. I also don't really like the idea of Superman saving everyone from the other villains. I think it would be awesome to see as a Superman fan, but I think it doesn't give those other heroes enough credit. I would have preferred the entire league to split up to go and help the other league members who are in trouble. But other than that, I couldn't fault the story. So make sure to let me know in the comments if you liked Snyder's plan for Justice League 2 and 3. Do you think it was too early for the Justice League sequels to happen? Would you have changed anything from his original plan? Or do you think they are perfect sequels just the way they are? But that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. I hope to see you here again soon, so until then, have a great day. Bye!